Welcome to Paint Couture's Surprise Box Challenge. Let's see what's inside. I'm super nervous. All right, what's in this? Brushes. Thank you, Paint Couture. The first thing's gonna be on my furniture piece. Okay, I love it. So, first color is gonna be Peace. Third box. Okay, it's a glaze. I can tell from the top it's a glaze. And we have Rich Mahogany Antiquing Glaze. Now let's see what this is. Okay, this is a challenge. I can see this. Next color we have Peacock. We have one more box here. And oh, cool. We have the Paint Couture Copper metallic here. All together on this piece that I'm going to be redoing is we have the Paint Couture Copper metallic, the Rich Mahogany Glaze, the Peacock, and the piece with their brushes. So, all right, I'm excited. So let's just get started and create something phenomenal. And let's get started with removing these hideous knobs from the 80s. Next, I'm dousing my piece with crud cutter and just gonna wipe it off. And after it's dried a little bit, I'm gonna come back with some water and a rag and wipe down the residue from the crud cutter. Okay, and always clean inside of your piece and under your piece, because inside is that gross too. And let's get this matted hairball off as well. Okay, so I really didn't need to do this for my piece because I'm doing a paint pour and resin top. But I wanted to show you guys right here in an example that if you have fraying edges on a laminate piece, you can take a straight razor like I'm doing and knock off all the edging to kind of make it even. And then you're gonna take this Titebond or any kind of wood glue, just dab a little bit on your finger here, and just apply a small amount to where the fraying edge was and let that dry. And once it's dry, you'll be good to paint. And now that my piece is finally prepped, I'm gonna be coming in and using this Paint Couture Sure Prep Bonding Primer. And I'm gonna be applying 3 heavy-duty coats to this. Because like I said, I'm doing a paint pour and a resin top for this piece. And I just need that extra durability and coverage for it. Now while the primer is drying, I went ahead and wrapped this whole thing in plastic and painter's tape to really seal it in for the paint pour. Now I'm measuring my paint out. It took about, I want to say 8 tablespoons, 9 tablespoons per line that I'm doing, and there's going to be 3 lines on this paint pour, and right now I'm doing 4 tablespoons of the Peacock and 4 tablespoons of the piece. And I'm gonna mix it together to make that third color for that third line. And line 1 is gonna be the piece. So I'm just gonna go straight down with it all the way to the end. And once I get to the end, I am now gonna spread it all out and get it on all of the edges and make sure it's completely covered. Okay, the next line is the Peacock and piece that was mixed together. And my third and last line is the Peacock. Okay, now we want to make sure everything is spread out all evenly and touching one another as best as we can. And now my favorite part, I'm taking a blow dryer here and I'm kind of creating a wave-like look. And I'm just going to go straight down all the way to the end. And now I'm going to add a touch of Couture Copper to give it some extra color. And now we're also going to hit this with a blow dryer as well. And let's add some white, because why not? And I am completely happy with the outcome. But to let you know, the paint took about 2 days to dry, and I did seal this with an epoxy resin. However, I didn't get it on film because I didn't have anyone, and resin's very finicky and it was my first time, so I'm sorry I didn't get it on film. Now it's time for the bottom part of the piece. So I am priming this with the Sheer Prep bonding primer that I used previous. And always do your scratch test. Okay, so for the piece, I'm gonna be doing my first blend. So right now, I'm just mixing those two colors to get my third color because the blend's gonna have all three colors on the bottom. And for 3 colors, you're gonna need 4 brushes. 1 for the piece, 1 for the peacock, 1 for the mixed, and your blending brush. Okay guys, just please bear with me. This is my first blend I have ever done on a piece of refinished furniture. I've only practiced on a few scrap boards, but it's a lot different when you're actually doing it on a piece. On my first coat right here, if you look to your left, I kind of did an outline of where I wanted my blend to go. Now a tip, make sure you blend those lines a little better on your first coat because those lines will show up on your second coat. Okay, so right now I'm taking the brush for the mixed color and meeting the 2 wet lines together. And now we're gonna add our third color, and like I said in the previous one, just meet those 2 wet lines together and work your way down. Okay guys, now for the actual blend. As you can see right there, I'm hesitating, I'm kind of panicked. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It took me probably 6-7 blending coats just to achieve the effect I wanted. And I almost gave up because I was so frustrated that I couldn't do this. Don't get frustrated. So shout out to my mentor, Kristen Whitwer. She pushed me to keep going, and that's what you have to do. So I'm gonna try to explain it. So as you've been watching, I've been putting on that mixed color for the middle part and trying to get a good amount on there. And I already had the peacock wet right there as well. So I'm just gonna use a lot of water, and that blending brush I showed you at the end, I'm just coming in, and you really need a light hand for this. And you just wanna go back and forth and very lightly bring both colors into each other. And now I got my blending where I wanted 7 coats later. I'm taking a detail brush and using the Couture Copper to really highlight this piece, especially on the doors. And someone asked me recently if there's a trick to detailing and not messing up. Honestly, there isn't. It's just practice and doing a lot of touch-ups. And now my next step is I'm gonna seal this piece with 2 coats of Topcoat from Paint Couture and Satin. Usually I glaze before the top coat, but this time I'm doing a top coat before the glazing. And now for the glazing, we're gonna be using rich mahogany, and you need a roll of towels or shop towels. I'm using a detail brush to get into all of the little detail of the floral design. And the reason I wanted to do the top coat before I did the glaze is because how that glaze is getting everywhere, I didn't want that on my color. So if you top coat before you glaze, I can wipe all that away and it'll sit all in the detailing. And the best way I've found for doing this is taking a mister bottle, misting down your paper towel, and you're gonna go and just wipe it very carefully off of your piece. And I am so happy how this piece turned out. It's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you, Paint Couture, for letting me do this challenge. I really appreciate it. And really, thank you guys for tuning in and watching this. I hope you learned something and had fun with this as I did. And if you liked the video, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe at the bottom. I'd really appreciate it. But until then, I'll catch you on the next video, guys.